So I'm going to start off this video right away by saying I'm not going to give my opinion on whether or not, how this case is going to turn out. I'm going to read the facts to you, and I'm going to let you guys infer or make your own conclusions on this whole situation, okay? Because there's a lot of false articles out there right now who are running with this crazy narrative, and there's not much information out at the moment in time. So Joe Mixon was not involved in any of this circumstance that we're about to talk about. It was his house/residence. So let's go ahead and break this down and talk about what happened. Somebody was at Joe Mixon's house. Whether that was a family member, a friend, a ex, whoever, girlfriend, boyfriend, I don't care, right? Somebody was at Joe Mixon's house. There was kids running outside, playing with Nerf guns, shooting themselves with Nerf guns. The person at Joe Mixon's house, for some reason, got scared and shot at the kids 11 times, hitting one 11-year-old in the leg, and he went to the hospital. Whoever was at Mixon's house should be arrested. They should see jail time. That's the facts that we have right there. Those are the only facts right now. Let's go ahead and break down the rest of the story, because there are stuff that we can talk about. Fox 19 is reporting what is the home of the Cincinnati Bengals, Joe Mixon. Last night at 11 o'clock, the sheriff's office went to Joe Mixon's house, and they had to put up police tape around his whole house because there was shots fired at kids right around his house. And because of that, the whole entire area became a police investigation. Joe Mixon's home still has sheriff deputies out front, the side and the backyard, around 11:30 p.m. Deputies banged on his front door saying, "Sheriff Department, come out." Crime scene tape was extended across the driveway then too. Based on what I understand, this went on for a couple hours, where they kept screaming, "Whoever's in the house, you have to come out and talk to us." And they did not come outside the house. All the people in the house, based on what I understand, was one person in the house. The alleger who allegedly shot at the kids. Here's a video of more people going in the house. So eventually, of course, like always, the police had to make entry into Joe Mixon's house because there's a crime and they have to figure out what's going on. So they did. And then here's the final update. No one has been arrested. One person is in the house. Deputies would not say who that person was. Crime scene tape has been taken down and deputies are leaving. And I did make a post last night saying, here's a rundown. The cops went to Joe Mixon's property. There was a shooting, including a child. The child was taken to the hospital for his injuries. Cops surrounded Joe Mixon's house, which one person inside. A lot of demands to come outside. The cops were able to eventually work out a deal with him to get the person to... Actually, I don't think to get them outside. I think they went inside. Joe Mixon, based on what we have heard, was not home. He has no affiliation with what happened in this last night. He was, I believe, on vacation. I know his sister came out and talked about that he was not home, that he was not involved in this. Based on what we understand, no one can blame Joe Mixon for this act. Right? At the end of the day, Joe Mixon, whoever he allowed in his house, is responsible for whoever he allowed in his house, right? Now, at the same time, whoever did the act, allegedly, of open firing on kids, needs to be put away in federal prison. Because that's disgusting. You can't do that. But again, like I said, that's the person inside the house. Should Joe Mixon face some repercussions because he allowed someone in his house to do this? Absolutely. And we're going to find out more information. Was that weapon that the person used Joe Mixon's? then Joe Mixon would be in trouble. Because why are you allowing someone in your house to have access to a weapon that is yours, right? So if it's your weapon and he's using it, that's on you. If it's his weapon and he's using it, he is at your residence, so you are allowing this scenario to happen. But at the end of the day, what happened was, allegedly, a man or woman, we don't know, shot at 11 bullets at kids. And I'm going to tell you right now, I'm just going to say this right now. To anyone saying, well, they were scared and that was, just warning shots or like just thing to get them away. 11 shots is not a warning. 11 shots is they want to end that person's life. Just saying. So then we had a lot of media sources coming out and doing what media sources always do. Non-stop creating fake storylines of how this all goes down. And it makes sense. Let's be honest. It does make sense. Because if we look at the fact that, if you just write a story of a man in the house, did what he did, done. No one's clicking on that. No one cares. But if you're talking about the team that could win the Super Bowl next year, Joe Mixon, star running back, he punched a girl in college. He pulled a gun on a girl back, a month ago. Well, allegedly a month ago. That was dropped. Then it gets clicks. It gets stories. It gets views. No. Okay? No. None of that happened. Joe was not involved. Joe was I'm not going to call him innocent bystander because he did allow someone in his house that eventually this all went down and the altercation happened. But at the end of the day, for the direct person involved, Joe was not involved. So, it is what it is at the end of the day, like I said before. No one was arrested. The cops left. The cops did not reveal who the person in the house was. But at the end of the day, it was not, again, like I say alleged because it's not even confirmed that the person in the house was the person who shot. Right? It's not even confirmed that that was a thing. I say alleged in very clear terms. Alleged. Because, again, like I said, we do not know much information. All we know is what we think is the person in the house shot at the kids. We don't know for sure that. We have no idea for sure if that was actually who shot at the kids. Based on, everything we know, that is what everything is pointing toward, and the cops surrounded the house because of that, but we don't know anything else. So, if you see any news stories or articles and stuff like that, just disregard them. Just disregard them. Until we get actual concrete proof, and like Joe Mixon comes out, or his agent comes out, or somebody comes out, there's just no reason to even play into those narratives at this point. Joe will be cut. I'm going to tell you right now. We saw this at the Combine when they asked the player personnel for the Bengals. They asked him about the T. Higgins trade, and he was very quickly saying, nope, we are not trading T. Higgins. Go find your own receiver. We're not doing it. They asked him the same question, but with, are you guys going to keep Joe Mixon? And he said, I don't know. So he was so passionate about the first answer because he knew the first answer was true. Second answer, he was like, oh, I don't know. Because second answer, they're not going to. Joe's going to be cut for $10 million. To save $10 million. I think Kareem Hunt gets brought in. I think they also draft somebody in free agency. In the draft. Running back wise. And I think they also go ahead and re-sign P. Ryan to a contract extension. Joe Mixon's time in Cincinnati is done. It is what it is. This situation did not cause him to get cut. This situation is just a situation that's unfortunate. And I hope whoever did get the kid that did get hurt, I hope he has a full recovery and everything works out perfectly fine for him. But at the end of the day, Joe's done. Joe, I hate to say it, my mans, but you're going to be cut. Maybe you're finding an NFL team. Maybe some situation will work out for you in the future. And maybe one day you'll be back in the Pro Bowl and we're talking about Joe Mixon is the best running back in football. But at this moment in time, all this stuff coming out, while a lot of it isn't Joe's fault and some of them was dropped, it's going to destroy trade value. He's not going to have any trade value. So the chances of you guys trading him, like I talked about last night, it's out the window. It's going to just be a cut. It's just going to be a release from the roster and you moved on. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys next one. Peace out.